Aloha and welcome to Tea with Kafi, Alternative Thought Conversations. I am your host, Kafi Tanae. Today I'm having coffee with one of my very dear friends. I've known her for over 20 years. She's a
Mm.
beauty expert and the owner of Lotus Aesthetics in Philadelphia. She is originally from Cambodia. She's traveled to America and opened up her own space, and all while doing all of that, she is transcending gender, and she's going to tell us about her story today. So please welcome Samantha Bison to the show. Hey, Sam.
Hey, how are you? Oh, the audience, the sound effect, yes.
I know. Aren't they wonderful? So,
Mm-hmm.
girl, we've known each other for a long time. I think
Like,
when I met you, I think I was like maybe like 19 or so.
yeah, I think I was 17 or 18. I just got done high school.
Yeah, no, because I kind of remember that you were in school.
Mhm.
Um, so that's been a long time ago, right?
It's, I mean, it is a long time, but it just feels like yesterday.
I know it does feel like yesterday. It really
we
does.
had a, we had good times.
We had a lot of good times.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I
I rem-
remember back then, you were already transcending gender in high school.
yeah, I started like my senior year in high school. So during that whole period, like I was going to therapy, I was going to um, counseling and everything. And then when I graduated, that's when the psychiatrist decided to put me in hormone therapy because I kind of like, she kind of wanted me to wait until all the schoolwork is done.
Ah, I see. So tell us, let's go back and tell us about when you first came to Philadelphia because you're originally from Cambodia. So tell
Mhm.
us about your journey to the U.S. and Philly.
Okay, so I was born in Cambodia in like a tiny, tiny, tiny little village. That was like all the houses were made out of like straw, and it's nothing like what we have here. And I'm I'm number 7 out of 12.
Mm.
Oh, and during that time, my parents had to flee the country because of the Khmer Rouge regime.
Mhm.
So the Khmer Rouge regime, what happened is that, to my best of understanding, they want to turn everybody into the whole country into a communist party. So, are you still there today?
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, because you just went blank for a second.
Oh, okay. No,
So
I'm here.
yeah, and I think I was very very young. I remember just walking, like my parents just leave everything behind, and all we had was the clothes on our back and a little sack of rice to kind of like hold us through until we reach Thailand. So, and my mom couldn't even bring all of her kids. She couldn't bring um, two. There was only five of us at the time was traveling, including like I think three kids, four, five kids, and my parents. So they walked through the forest, through the jungle with like bombs exploding, and we see people with just dying, and I think it was horrible. So I think it took us about maybe 2 to 3 days trekking nonstop through the jungle, and we finally reached a camp which is called Kawit Down, which is in Thailand. And in during that time, we get paperwork done, get everybody's identity straightened out, and some people go to New Zealand, some people go to the United States, some people go to Australia, and some go to France. But We ended up coming to Philadelphia because my uncle was here first. So after, I think we stayed like 2 to 3 years in Thailand, and then we came to the Philippines. And in the Philippines, we stayed there probably like 9 months.
Mm.
And after, and then the Philippines, we came to Philadelphia.
Mm.
So when I came to Philadelphia, I think I was about 7.
Okay.
It is, I mean, it was like, it was so, I was like sensory overload and exciting, and, and just we came and just straight up in the ghetto. We grew up in the hood.
Like, from the jungle to the hood,
Jungle to
girl.
the hood, from one jungle to another jungle.
I hear you, girl.
Yeah.
I hear you. So, tell us about, because I know a lot of people don't understand, somebody as special as you that decides that they are going to transcend gender. So
Right.
just tell us about what was that like in the beginning? How did you feel in the beginning when you first started having these feelings about transcending?
So I mean, ever since I was little, I was in, I can understand or acknowledge my emotion. Like I just knew, I just feel so different. Like I didn't really. I guess for me anyway, when I was younger, you don't really look at gender as like male or female. I don't think any little kids. I mean, I'm speaking just for myself. Like I didn't think I was male or female. I'm just like a little kid. You know what I mean? But I knew that I just like I gravitate towards like the feminine energy. Like I would play with all the girls in the neighborhood. Like all my friends were girls. So and I just didn't know how to do any of those like quote unquote masculine or boy things. So I'm always playing Barbies and let me have my mom cook, and I just look at things differently, and I knew I was kind of different. And I think one good thing about Cambodian society is that they allowed me to be who I am without any judgment until until I literally like, okay, mom, this is what's gonna happen, and they were shocked. I mean, they were shocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were shocked because they think it just. I don't think they understand that this can happen. Like, no, I don't think my parents' generation can ever have the understanding that wow, you can be born, assigned a certain at birth, male or female, and then you can change. Because I think that's fascinating to them also. And I'm just lucky enough that like I was born in this time space reality that I am able to do it. So
Right.
and like I went to visit Cambodia 6 years ago, and I can't imagine myself growing up in Cambodia because I would never have I wouldn't have I wouldn't have the money. I wouldn't have the type of doctors and medicine that I can get here to assist my transition.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but it wasn't easy. I know my mom struggled a little bit, and I remember clearly to this day. Like I said, I just graduated high school. That's when I started wearing more of like feminine clothes, dresses, and my hair just grow long, and full fledged fake titty stuff in my bra, whatever. Sometimes, sometimes my boobs were cushions. Sometimes the toilet paper, whatever. We gonna make it work until we can get something.
Right.
I know. I remember, like I bought this like tan dress, like a chiffon dress from French Connection on South Street, and I wore it. And it was it was summer. So my mom came out and she looked at me. She's like, "Why are you dressing like that?" And I couldn't even answer her. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, and then she was like, if you're gonna dress like that, you have to put a trash bag on your head because I don't want to be embarrassed.
Mm.
So I kind of like took a few steps, and I turned because she was standing on like the porch of my house. So I turned to her. I said, "Mom, so you're gonna be embarrassed by me?" She said, "Yes. Like put the trash bag over your head if you're gonna dress this way." I said, "Mom, you
Mm.
know what? I didn't ask to be here. You and my dad made me. If you're gonna be embarrassed and you don't like it, you take me back where you got me from because I don't want to be here either."
Mm.
And she just like took a few step back, like she didn't realize like this word hit her. It was powerful, and she like this is a human being that cannot be controlled by anyone, and I don't think anyone can control any other human being. So it was just beyond my control. It's beyond her control, and she just like sit back like, oh, okay, you're a being. And she called my aunt in Florida. She told my aunt what happened. She said, well, my child said this, and I agree.
Mm.
Like, my child did not want to be this way, but it just happened to, this is the way it is. And she can't change the fact that who I become, and I can't change that fact either. So,
Mhm.
and then ever since then, I got so much respect from her and from my
Mm.
dad. And I was, the type of child like I really respect my parents. I never did anything to bring them any shame, to bring them any hardship. And I did everything by the book. Go to
Right.
school, graduate. I was the first one to go to college.
Mhm.
The only one in the family who has a business.
Mhm.
So and they see all that, and then they realize like I'm not a trouble kid.
Right. Right.
So, hmm
Well, I think that certain people come here to be teachers to the rest of the world.
hmm
And whatever it is that they need to learn the rest of the world. And it's always that person that's doing something different than the status quo, so to speak.
hmm
But let's say when your daughter or somebody that you love unconditionally is transcending gender, those lessons from your family members, those are the ones that get it. You know what I mean? Because there's that unconditional love that exists through family. So even though
right,
they might not like it, they do have to sit back and learn this lesson. You
mm,
know what's going on. I mean, they don't have to, but they
right,
have the option to be a student. So, and then when you look at it in retrospect, it's like you're the teacher of the world. You're one of the great
yeah,
teachers of the world, that we don't have to be bound by gender and specifics, and that we
yeah.
can be who
mm.
we are.
I think that as human being on this planet in this time space reality at this moment in time, we all can learn something from one another, whether it's just, we're different colors, we speak different languages. I think what makes us so unique is our differences. Like
Hmm.
I think that's why I'm like I love listening to people, like people from different country, like, and the more you learn about other people, the more you learn about yourself.
Exactly.
So
Yes. Right. Yep. So I want to thank you personally for being a teacher to the world about diversity, because I think right now it's like a really interesting time for us to be able to grasp that lesson. It seems like we just been living on this planet for so long and we don't get it. We don't really understand it. And now we see that it's killing us, it's tearing us apart, it's breaking us
right,
down as human beings.
right,
So it's just, those particular people that don't go with the status quo that, are representative of the lessons that need to be learned in life. So I'm hoping, wishing, and praying that we get something out of this time.
I think like I said, with every every trouble, with everything, every hardship, there's always going to be something that's beautiful going to come out of it. I just have that faith.
Hmm.
Like the time when my parent has to flee Cambodia because millions and millions of people were, you know, being killed, where
Hmm.
children were starving, like, and I came out of it.
Yeah.
And it's like I have faith in this planet. I have faith in humanity. Like we're gonna get through it, and it's gonna be fine.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
And I look at this whether trend or any other label that we think that's our label. No, to me, it's like no matter who you are, what you are, as long as you don't hurt yourself and you don't hurt anybody else, do you?
Yes.
You're good.
Absolutely.
You don't need anybody accepting but yourself.
That's right.
Because it took me a long time to feel comfortable. And I feel like I need approval from people. I need approval from society.
Hmm.
But all those time, the only approval I need was my own, and that was it.
That's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all we need.
Like RuPaul said, if you don't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else?
Can I get an amen?
We have to love ourselves regardless.
I know.
That's the most important lesson. That's the most important thing. We have to love ourselves. And I think with being transgender, it's like we see perfection, we want perfection, we want all this thing, and like we spend so much money on surgery and everything, and just to achieve that perfection, because we think the world would approve us, would just say, you know what, she got it or he got it,
Mm-hmm.
because we look a certain way. And we have, I think a lot of us are, I'm speaking of, I can't speak for everybody else, I'm going to speak only for myself, that mental struggling to strive for perfection, the physical perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Is my face feminine enough?
Mm-hmm.
Is my voice feminine enough? Is my hair long and thick enough? My boobs big enough? My hips, my butt? And all these things that I think about all the time. Spending so much money and energy. And now I realize I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I still care what I look like, but it's now I'm like, I'm good. I don't even want any more surgery.
Right. I hear you.
I'm done. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus, for loving me, and thank you for teaching me how to love myself.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you look marvelous, honey. You always have. Now, it's interesting too, when we talk about that, because do you remember the House of Ferragamo?
Girl, I was in the house of
Girl, look, I'm going back to those the ball days, right?
Yes, the bar routine.
Yes. And now it's interesting because they have this new show that Pose.
Yes, Pose.
And I've never seen the balls on mainstream until what, 2020 or 2020 or 2019 or something like that, or whatever.
19.
Yeah, 29. And we were doing that like many, many years ago. It's just kind of interesting that it's, coming to the forefront now. Right. But I do think that that ball culture, because it's so highly judged, influences a lot of that, like realness and how real is it, and that perfection,
At the end of the day, it's a competition and thing, it could put a lot of stress on the contestant. Like, you walking that ball, and I remember walking, I had no freaking clue what the hell I was doing. Like, I didn't know any moves. They just pushed me on the catwalk. I'm like, I got chopped. I'm like, what? I don't even know what chop means. It was horrible. But from that, I gained a few good friends.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's like this whole thing, it's a journey.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a journey. Enjoy your journey. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
It's all about the journey.
And everything and everybody is just part of learning.
hmm No, I remember when Charles was like really into it, right? He was
Yeah.
really into the bossing. And
Um,
we went to a ball together, and I had on this like silver dress, and it was like glittery, and I had this white boa that went across the shoulders, and these platform shoes, and my hair looked like almost like it looked now, except it was just like straight platinum, and this bob that Charles did, and he was like, I had no intention, I was just going to the ball. He's like, you got to do it. You got to do it. It was some category. I think it was like real fish. Girl, and I was like, no. Then all these people come and they're like, yeah, you got to do it. And he pushed me out there. I was like, this is so crazy.
us out there like we're some Naomi and Tyra. It was fun.
Yeah,
I have to say, it was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like I came, I saw, and like I left. It's not for me. I'm not a legendary. We are not legendary today.
No, we are not legendary children.
We're just a spectator.
But Charles was an aspiring legendary child, honey.
Wow. The face of Ferragamo.
Yes, the Mr. Ferragamo.
The cheekbone, the lips. Oh my God.
Yes. Oh, that was some fun times.
Yes, it was fun.
Mm-hmm. We was like young, beautiful, and free, doing our thing.
Young, fearless, size 0. I'm size 0 today.
Girl, please. I was just wearing myself this
I'm
morning.
D's nuts.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So now you're a business woman, business owner. When did you, so when I left Philadelphia, you were doing nails in a salon.
Yeah, I think that during that time, I was just doing that. Like, I didn't take it seriously. I was going to college. So during that time, like I said, I didn't have enough confidence. I was still searching. Like, I did too many things. I didn't have anybody to look after me to say, girl, this is what you're gonna do.
Right.
This needs to be done. I didn't have any structure. Like, I had too much freedom. Like, I signed my report card when I was in 2nd grade. Like, I have to make every decision on my own. And, being 16, 17, like, you have to make this, like, life decision. And if your parent doesn't know, and you don't have anybody else behind you, like, as for me, I didn't. Like, so I got a little lost. So I just go back and forth, and I'm trying to do too many things. Go to school full time, working full time, have a boyfriend, and socializing full time. That's not going to work. And it didn't work. So, yeah, during that time, I was just working at the shop, and nothing came out of it until one day I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give this 110%. And if I decide to do something else, let me get this together first. Let me take this first step and then take the second step. So I saved enough money to open my own salon, and I'm just very blessed. And like I said, right now in this time and space, like I'm pretty content.
How long have you had the salon?
The one in Philadelphia, this is going on 5 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. So what are you doing at Lotus Aesthetics? What services are you offering?
So we offer all type of nail enhancement, builder gel, acrylic, all different like luxury pedicures, waxing, and I have a stylist who cuts hair. And also the reason why I decided to open Lotus in that location, give help to kids who come from broken homes, kids who are like me, trans, gay, didn't, you know, don't have anybody to depend on. Like I take them and I train them, give them the skills so they can go to college and can have some money to buy lunch and support themselves while doing trying to do bigger things. And just just offering a safe space
Yes, yes.
for them to be in.
Right. So passing the torch to the next generation.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Because I just believe that what we learn we have to give to others because we can't hold on to it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to pass our knowledge on. So I'm just doing the best that I can.
Well, you're doing a very good job, my love. You are. I'm very proud of you. What side of town is Lotus?
You remember South Street?
Yeah, I do remember South Street.
I'm 13 South.
Oh, okay. Because we used
Yeah.
to walk up down South Street all the time.
Yeah. South Street. I mean, then where I'm at right now. Back then, it was just so ghetto and hood. Like you don't want to walk on that part of town past Hyde Park. But now it's like $1 million homes. Girl, the neighborhood is so bougie now.
Oh, I can imagine. Because, a lot of that happened, that gentrification, just moving. Because I remember that certain part of South Street you get to, and it'd be like, oh, okay, that's it. It's over. That's the end. We have a question from a viewer, and they're asking, where do the young people come from?
From the neighborhood. This people who's in Philadelphia area from the neighborhood.
But you're pretty you're like a staple in the community, so people know who you are already.
Yes, they know who I am or heard of me. Yes.
So are you doing anything actively with the young people in the LGBTQ community besides your business?
Right now, not really, but like I had this idea that I don't know, I want to do something. But right now, I guess I can, by not donating, but just like giving my time and give them a place to come in and train them for free and, employ them. And I think that's the best I can do at the moment, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
But I would like to do something else.
That's cool. I think a lot of, in this time of quarantine, where it gives us a time to kind of slow down and think about what's really important in life. So I think that a lot of ideas are going to be, born in this space when we finally do get out. I mean, even like for me doing this show, where I've always had a path in life where I've been had the opportunity to meet interesting people, and me just deciding to do this show, like how many conversations I had about it and how many times I just said whatever, you know what I mean? And then it's like, here, you actually have the time and the headspace to do it. And then, like the next week, I was like, okay, it's going to be on Wednesday at 11, and I'm just going to line up all these people. And, here, this is my, what is it, my 7th show, And
that is a lucky number.
Yes. And you're on my 7th show.
Yeah.
And I still have a list of interesting people that, I'm still going to be interviewing. And people, that's one reason why I call it alternative thought conversations, because I know all these people that have made it their life's mission to bring up a conversation that's alternative in thought to the
Mm-hmm.
status quo, you know. And I feel like those voices need to be projected a little bit more. And especially now, I think we're just a little bit more comfortable with projecting. You know what I mean? Because when you think
Mm-hmm.
about when we first met 20 years ago, all of the things that's happening in the LGB community wasn't happening 20 years ago. You know, people weren't getting married, and then, you know, they've grown this whole acronym to like 19 letters or something like that. So,
Um,
so they're
I,
defining themselves, you know, for the
yeah,
world, the younger people. And they're just doing it like with a fine tooth comb, just, you know, letting people know where I remember when it was only 3 letters. And then I remember when we graduated to 5. Now it's like 19. Then it's like 2 other ones. They doing the thing. So,
mm-hmm.
you know, people
But
are.
I don't know how many letters there is, but what are letters that identify you? I embrace it, and it's okay.
Mhm.
And I just think, like, going back to what you were saying, like, just being in this time and how far our society have grown and become. I think it's such a beautiful thing to see.
Mhm.
And I very honored that I was born in this time space and reality.
Mhm.
Because we have come a long way as people, and it's just beautiful to see that the younger generation, the younger kids, are not afraid to be who they are. And I love it. They could just walk out and holding hand, and it doesn't phase them. Cause, and I think that it's just so amazing. Also, healthcare wise, it's just incredible because we have a place where kids can go get hormone
Mhm.
safely,
Mhm.
and if they can't afford it, and it's free. So it is absolutely, absolutely beautiful, and I'm just so happy to see it's becoming the norm in our culture and our society. Because when I was younger, so I had to pay for everything myself,
Mhm.
and it was not cheap.
Mhm.
The hormone was expensive, and trying to find a doctor who can prescribe it to you, it was a challenge. And sometimes I steal my mom permanent because she got estrogen in it. My mom going through hot flashes. Her doctor gave her Premarin, and I was like, "Mom, I'm gonna take this." Oh, it was so crazy.
So tell us about the hormones and that process and going through that process and the importance of
Yeah.
having the right doctor.
Well, I mean, if to feminize your body, you have to take estrogen. I mean,
Mhm.
it's. I think everybody's different, but for me, like, I had to take estrogen because I want to be as feminine as possible, as pretty as possible, have the prettiest skin, and
Mhm.
So, and I think I was on estrogen for like a couple years, and you see little changes,
Mhm.
and then eventually got some money, get my boobs done,
Mhm. How often do you have to take the estrogen?
go every day. You have to
Mm.
take it because um, if your body doesn't produce any hormone, it's not healthy. It's not good. Like you,
Okay.
you need that hormone to strengthen your bones and everything else.
I see.
So,
So you have to take it every day. So you still take it every day?
yeah, I have to take it every day.
Has that technology changed a lot since when you first started taking hormones to now?
Technology as far
As
as
far as the drugs improving or being different or
um,
being better?
it is getting better though. It is, and it's just like I said, it's accessible. It's
Hmm.
easy to get to, and you have a doctor to monitor you. And it's not just like before, you know, you get it however you can. Some people just get it from the black market, and it's just dangerous.
What are
You know,
some of the side effects?
when I first started, the first side effect, like, it, I don't know, for me, like, I get so nauseous. Like, oh my God, today I was nauseous, I was thrown up, and I don't know, it's just, I guess the body wasn't getting used to it, and, you know, I start to lactate and everything. I don't know, maybe my body, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was horrible, but now I'm used to it.
Yeah. So then eventually the body just kind of starts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. See, I never knew all of the details.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, am I pregnant? I'm having all the. It gives you all the pregnancy symptom. It really is. It gives you that pregnancy symptom. And it was just so crazy. I'm like, no, what is going on? Constant, sometimes I would throw up and just, oh.
Yeah, I know all about that because that's a trip.
Yeah. But everything is good now. We're good. God is good.
Yes, and you look amazing. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Anytime, just let me know.
Okay. Well, today I want to thank you so much for coming and enlightening us on everything that you've shone light on today. And in the future, I'm going to have you back on the show to talk some more about all these other things that are happening in the world that you can shine some light on.
Yes.
And then you stay with me now, so I can do I'm going to introduce my next guest, so you can keep me company while I do that. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We need all the subscriptions we can get to move the show to the next level. Next week, we're going to have Pamela Howard. And Pamela has also transcended gender, and he's going to be telling us about his journey on his transition process. So we're really excited. He's a fitness expert, and he's dedicated his life to working with seniors. So we're just going to have another exclusive interview. And I will see you guys next Wednesday, same time, same place.
Okay.
Aloha. Don't forget to subscribe. Click, click, click.